Techno update. Subscribe now.
Alcatel 5 Review. Design. Alcatel has gone for something a little different with the Alcatel 5 design, which is deserving of some credit. There's none of the usual Apple and Samsung copycattery on display here, that's for sure. There's a brushed effect on the wraparound rear and sides, although it's subtle enough to be inoffensive. This is loosely mirrored by a slightly retro horizontal line pattern under the cover glass, inaccurately labeled as 2.5D by Alcatel, immediately above and below the display. It's a little regrettable that Alcatel has opted for a fake shiny metal effect for the plastic ends. These contain the 3.5mm and USB-C ports, as well as the phone speaker, but they look a little naff. In fact, this is quite a pleasant phone to hold thanks to a narrow 71.1mm body with a modest 8.45mm thickness. Combined with a just-so weight of 144 grams and smooth rounded edges, it fits in the hand very snugly indeed. Screen. The Alcatel 5's 5.7-inch 18:9 IPS LCD is a standout component. However, where the Honor 9 Lite boasted a suitable 2160 by 1080 FHD plus resolution, the Alcatel 5 screen comes in at a slightly disappointing 1440 by 720. This isn't a disaster by any means, but there's undoubtedly a certain fuzziness to small text and thumbnails when browsing the web. It seems a strange decision to provide a widescreen media-friendly 18:9 aspect ratio, but then not to provide the ability to watch full HD content. Performance. The Alcatel 5 is powered by a MediaTek MT6750 CPU, which is a slightly creaky low-end CPU. It's a shame that it wasn't fitted out with something a little more punchy. I'm thinking of the Snapdragon 625 used by the Moto G5s Plus, or even the MediaTek Helio P25 found in the 2G Mix 2. Both of those phones have a similar price to the Alcatel 5, yet they perform much better. A Geekbench 4 multi-core score of 2474 compares unfavorably to both the Moto G5s Plus, 4460, and the 2G Mix 2. 4032. The Honor 9 Lite, with its more pixel-dense take on the edge-to-edge display and its humdrum Kirin 659 CPU, scored 3644. The Alcatel 5's mediocre processor is, at least, backed by a comfortable 3GB of RAM, which ensures that the Android OS runs without too many issues. 32GB of storage is pretty much expected for a phone at this price these days, as is the provision of a microSD slot for up to 128GB of expansion. Software. The Alcatel 5 runs on Android 7.1 Nougat, which dates all the way back to December 2016. It's far from the latest version of Google's mobile OS. Not that you'll immediately recognize the version of Android by looking at it. Yes, Alcatel is another smartphone brand that thinks it knows better than the world's biggest software company when it comes to UI design. Camera. Alcatel has gone with the trend of a dual camera setup for the Alcatel 5, but not in the way you might expect. It's the front camera that gets the benefit of two lenses here, rather than the rear. You get a dual 13-megapixel and 5-megapixel smart selfie duo system, which automatically switches to a 120-degree wide-angle view when it detects more than two people in the frame. Besides, the single 12-megapixel main camera on the Alcatel 5 is actually pretty decent as it is. During my time with the phone I found it to be reasonably snappy, with reliable autofocus and an intuitive UI. Battery life. The Alcatel 5 doesn't pull up any trees on the battery life front, but it will comfortably see you through a day of normal usage. Its 3000 mAh capacity isn't particularly remarkable for a modern smartphone with a 5.7-inch display, but the phone's low-power processor and 720p resolution make it look a little more generous.